Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is he doing this to himself again? Why? Pain! Because I do it for you. Hey guys, welcome back to Javon Rule 16. I am your host Javon, and today we have a brand new video. Today we'll be doing a suite of benchmarks once again on the Intel Core i3-10105 with only 4 gigabytes of RAM in single channel memory. That's right, today we're testing it at 2667 megahertz. The whole point of this one specifically for me is to see if having a better CPU will help out the fact that I only have 4 gigabytes of RAM when playing games. Once again, everything is running off of an SSD. The SSD is also a boot drive, and we're using the Intel UHD 630 integrated graphics. It is faster than the HD 620, and once again, the i3 is faster than the i3-7100U. So everything should be faster, theoretically. Let's get into it and see what happens. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. First up, once again, as it always is Hades at 720p, ran at 60 FPS, man, with the 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now, Hades is one of those games that really uses RAM, a lot of RAM, when it needs to use a lot of RAM. Like, it just can use over 6 gigabytes, realistically, even at the same setting, because it only has 720p. But hey, at 60 FPS, it's still managing to average it, so I'd say that this is extremely playable. Now, as you can see, look at it. Once you have only single channel RAM, look how high my CPU is. Normally I should be able to run this game like 10 to 20%, but it's using over 40% of the i3 right now, even 50, even 60 to run this game. That is just because I have single channel memory. That is painful to watch, but regardless, Hades will be a smooth experience. Next up, we have Tomb Raider 2013, which I've already shown runs quite well on integrated graphics, especially if you drop the resolution. But at 720p low, we were averaging over 35 FPS on average. Once again, the 1% lows also were quite nice, even for 4 gigabytes of RAM, considering that doesn't happen very often. What I did find here is that it dropped to under 30, less than the Intel HD 620 did. Once again, the UHD 630 is faster, so this would have been a much smoother experience just because the CPU is helping out so much more. But once again, 4 gigabytes of RAM is not good enough, guys. You need at least 8, and in dual channel, or even if you have 2 and 2 to make 4, it still will be better with the higher bandwidth. With Watch Dogs on the set, I also quite noticed that the 1% lows as well as the average was quite high, considering all things considered. Once again, it's only 4 gigabytes of RAM, but at 800 by 600 on the low preset, once again over 35 FPS on average. Now, this one obviously is a bit more demanding than a lot of the other games, but it seems to run quite well with the 4 gigs, considering that with 2 gigs, the game doesn't even want to actually launch into the actual gameplay of the game. So this was quite impressive to me. For integrated graphics, once again, a win for the integrated graphics. Now, if you can see at certain points in there, you're seeing that the GPU isn't fully maxed out. That's a RAM bottleneck, bro. What the heck? 4 gigabytes of RAM just ain't cutting it for these types of games. But this is still quite playable as of right now, until I head outside, I guess. Damn Dragon Age Inquisition, why are you always like this? Those loading times, man, are ridiculous for this damn game. At 720p low, once again, Dragon Age will be Dragon Age. It struggles. To be fair, it did a lot better than the Intel HD 620, once again, because it had a better CPU as well. We are hitting over 30 FPS more, but as you can see, those stutters are ridiculous. That 1% low dropped that frame rate to 6 FPS for a second there. Not great, but I would actually say that if I drop this to 960 by 540, this would be playable, simply because we have the breathing room with the CPU. That being said though, this annoys me. I'm sorry guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition still is not playable. At 960 by 540 on the low preset, yeah, the game doesn't run. The game doesn't run well. Yeah, it's the 4 gigabytes of RAM, man. The single channel just isn't helping, bro. In dual channel, I bet this would get over 30. But yeah, the single channel, you just can't run this properly with single channel RAM, man. It's unfortunate. It always surprises me how I feel Batman Arkham Origins is way more optimized than the other games in the series were. I always thought this, by the way. At 720p low, we are hitting once again an average of over 30 FPS. This is quite nice considering that 1% low is at 80 FPS. Batman Arkham Origins, I believe, does run better, but with 4 gigabytes of RAM, the game becomes extremely playable. I would think you would need at least 8 once you're traversing outside though, as flying around and stuff, they're gonna need to load in a lot of data. It's probably not going to be the best experience outside, but for right now, it looks playable enough to me. It's real to me, damn it, I guess. I'm sorry, this hurts to do, okay? It hurts to play these games, man, like this.
You're not supposed to be real. Tore this place apart. I don't know what it is. It's huge. Where is Black Mask? I don't know. He's here for Commissioner Loeb. Maybe one of his men knows where he's headed. This is Captain James. Situation. These are Black
Remember Me 1, the set once again. Remember Me has a stutter issue, and it also doesn't fully utilize the GPU with only 4 GB of RAM, unfortunately. At 720p low, we were hitting an average of about 30 FPS, but it will dip and it will go up. It really ranges realistically, but yeah, as we can see here, if you're looking at the GPU isn't fully maxed out. That could be a RAM bottleneck, a CPU bottleneck, just because we only have the 4 GB of RAM. There are a lot of moving parts here that causes this to not perform to the best of its ability. Damn it.
Bob, shut up.
Once again, we're back to Castlevania Lords of Shadows 2 for the PC man, and it runs at 720p with a low mixture of medium and low settings. I think the game performs fine at 30 FPS once again. You're lucky to be getting this type of frame rate when you're playing these types of games anyway. The fact that I can do this at 720p, but I would recommend 960 by 540 to play any of these games realistically. But yeah, 720p is quite impressive. And for our final video, we have Devil May Cry 2013 on the set once again. At 720p low, the game once again was averaging around 30 FPS, which goes up during gameplay, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Definitely, once again, this is one of those games though that you definitely need dual channel, or you play at 960 by 540. Otherwise, it will dip under the 30 FPS quite a lot during this game because there's a lot of crazy crap happening in this game. But yeah, to be honest, conclusion time. This wasn't the worst thing in the world. I'm sorry, this was terrible. I am in such pain. To go from AMD integrated graphics 4 gigs to this is a nightmare, dude. The performance was really bad, all things considered. But hey, you could still play a lot of these games, especially if you drew lower than 720p. That's the big thing. Do less than 720p, and you could run these games all quite playably, except for Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is, but for the others, definitely playable. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and please subscribe for all my suffering for testing these games. It takes me a long time to do all these benchmarks because I gotta edit, render it, then put in the music. It's a lot of stuff, man. So I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys next time, though. Hope you guys enjoyed.